Hello and welcome to the Department of Basic Education channel on OpenView, channel 122 and on YouTube. This is your weekly news roundup of what's been happening in the education sector. My name is Tshegohatjo Moagi. This program is aimed at giving you an overview of what is taking place in the education space, from the opening of new schools to the role of school governing bodies, research and trends emerging in basic education, as well as examinations. And of course, we will be updating you on the progress made regarding the management of COVID-19 in the sector. Not only that, but you also get to have a say. If there's a particular issue you would like to share with us or want us to address, please hit us up on our Twitter page at DBE_SA, Facebook DBE SA, and Instagram DBE SA. Let's take a look at our top stories. School governing bodies are urged to work together. We find out the future of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative and some great news for learners who enjoy playing netball. So let's start here. The induction of the newly elected SGB members is underway. Some of the areas of orientation include developing codes of conduct, school discipline in schools, financial management, school safety and bullying prevention. Every 3 years, communities work together to elect the members of the school governing body. Those elected are being urged to work as a team to better the schooling environment for all.
The SGB is the parliament of school. That's the highest decision-making body in a school. I know people tend to mistake SGBs with parents. It's not a group of parents that are governing the school, but it's a combination of different stakeholders within the school. You have your learners there in high school, they run their own elections. Your teachers run their own elections, non-teaching staff, and the parents on the other hand. So when all these components have elected their representatives, you then bring them together. That's what you call an SGB. So when SGB sits in a meeting, you have all these components debating on an issue, having to take a decision on what to do.
Minister Angie Motshekga has thanked parents and communities for supporting the department even during difficult times. She has also reiterated the importance of school governing bodies.
The parents worked very hard to support us. It was not easy. So we need parents ready to support us in many instances so that if communities want to interact with us, they come through the school governing body.
The elections were, however, not without their challenges.
The biggest challenge is people who want to be in the SGB at all costs. People that do not have children at school. So what they do, they go on and rent children and pretend to be parents of the children. Those who have financial muscles, those who have political muscle, will go and ask a parent to allow them to take over as guardians of the children and pose as parents. You do have uncles that have left home, they're probably living in the suburbs, and when SGB election come, they come back home to the township and claim guardianship of their brothers and sisters, children and siblings. So the basic rule is one: you either are a biological parent. If you are not a biological parent, you should be looking after this child in the absence of a biological parent.
So what advice does the department have for the newly elected school governing body?
It's not a sprint, it's a long ride. 3 years might come and go quickly. Go there with an open mind. Don't go there to fix some issues or to sort out other people. Go there and learn. And what is important is the child that you are really supporting. Everything you do for the benefit of the child. Don't be bossy, don't dominate. There are other ideas there. Even a learner that is doing grade 12 and is in the SGB has something to say. So have that open mind and learn from that. And take decisions jointly and agree as a collective. Then your school will go a long way.
To this now. The Department of Basic Education successfully implemented the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative. The aim of the initiative was to address some of the country's economic challenges. The program, which was initially meant to only run from December 2020 to March 2021, was so successful it got extended to the end of April. More than 300,000 young people across the country were employed as either education assistants or general assistants. Not only were they given this opportunity to work and add to their job profiles, but the Department of Basic Education provided training for them in various areas, including curriculum, ICT, child and youth care, reading and literacy champions, and infrastructure. The department says that funding received from National Treasury to implement this initiative did much more than expected.
So one of the things that we wanted to do was to provide training for the young people, which we were able to do to a large extent. The other component of this project, which is not really spoken about much, is that we wanted to save posts, SGB posts, and posts in government subsidized independent schools. And we're able to save about 31,000 jobs. So these were the jobs that would have become threatened because of COVID-19. We do know that a lot of people lost their jobs, and as such, maybe they're not able to pay school fees. So as such, then the schools were not able to collect sufficient school fees to pay salaries. So we're able to set aside a portion of the funding for the BEI towards the saving of posts.
As much as the initiative was a success, there were a few payment challenges along the way for the assistants. Many of them took to social media to voice their unhappiness. They said they have not been paid for months. However, the department says these issues have now been limited to a few provinces.
From around January, December, we're receiving complaints from a lot of people. And because the funding was with the provinces, we were referring them to the provincial project managers for them to resolve, and would follow up after a number of days just to see that the issues are being resolved. By and large, to the best of our knowledge, most of the stipends have been paid. We have not been receiving a lot of complaints, but we are aware that there have been some complaints on social media, but those are not official complaints, if you like, in that as a department we have not received any official complaints, but any complaint that we receive, as soon as we get it, we resolve right away through the provincial managers, because they are the ones who manage the payments.
The work done by the young people in schools has been praised by many, including teachers and principals. So, will there be a second phase?
Hey, you're putting me on the spot. Listen, it's based on the success of phase one, and based on our experiences when we're monitoring the project in the provinces, in the schools. The project has been well received. We're only getting positive reviews, mostly from the principals, but also from the young people as well, because we understand the situation with youth unemployment in the country. With regards to phase two, it's something that we would like to see happening as the basic education sector. So the provinces, the DBE as well, because we've seen the impact that this has in our schools, but also in the lives of the young people and also in the communities. We have put together a proposal to the National Treasury. We have not received any feedback just as yet, because it's a process that needs to be followed. The DBE is not the only department or the sector which wants to implement the Presidential Employment Initiative. There are other departments. We were given the criteria, we've made our proposal, we're just waiting for feedback.
For those who have not been paid their stipends yet, you can email the department on media@dbe.gov.za or info@dbe.gov.za. As much as their contracts have not been extended, an earlier media statement by the department indicated that discussions are underway to review and repackage the initiative with a proposed second phase to commence later this year. Keep your eyes glued on our social media pages for more details on this announcement. The 4 months of the Basic Education Employment Initiative went very well. During a recent visit to Limpopo, education and general assistants shared experiences about the work they did and what they learned at the various schools with Minister Angie Motshekga. Meanwhile, this assistant had this plea to parents.
Teacher assistant. Whatever ka foundation face ga ba khone go bala ga botse re wa thusha ka go bala se sengwe gape re wa thusha le ka ga mathematics gore ba khone go tseba gore re tlhakantsa jang re mana sa jang tse ka mpana tsona di homework tsa bona ge ba file di homework re gona go sala 1 hour nyana re ba thusha ka di homework tsa bona re bereka go clean di classes all over the shop clean, and then by the way, I was coming out of school. So since it came over there, it was like the difference in school. I was clean every day. Right, I'm going to be more
Every time school, I get more about the identify bank at our by one train SASMs. So since that day until today, I can tell you, even if one day Pagatabam first school is the manager, I will know where to start. What is it that you expect from second school? From day to day, how we should interact with children? What is it that we should report each and every week? All those things come back and name them one get it saver.
Cleaner, it does sanitizer.
Meanwhile, this assistant has this plea to parents.
But what I would like to ask from the parents is ngwana o tlhoka support ya motswadi le support ya teacher. Bana ga ba boya ka gae ke gopela batsadi re tshekeng dibuka tsa bana re thuse bana ka homework. Mmereko wa dibuka se wa ma teacher fela batsadi are many involved ka ra mmereko wa bana ba rena. Bana ba rena ba palelwa ba tlhoka. So
the term bullying has become synonymous with violence and evil attacks, and with the years, it keeps getting worse, even extending to beyond what is physical. Children of all ages now have access to the internet, and cyberbullying is worsening. Parents and teachers are worried about the rate at which cyberbullying takes place. But what can schools do to teach children about cyberbullying and its dangers?
We do have our instances of bullying, not majorly because we try to sort them out as quickly as possible. We do have a register where we keep our records of who's bullying who, and immediately there's something the kids know, they're free to come and speak to us at any stage. And I think we do try and keep it at bay. Cyberbullying is another story. We do try and tell our children, stay off social media when it's negative. Use social media to talk to your friends. But it's a fight that we're fighting, and it's going to become worse and worse and worse, unfortunately.
The Department of Basic Education will soon be rolling out a nationwide bullying prevention campaign, starting in the Gauteng South District in Orange Farm. Stay tuned on this channel and look out on all our social media platforms for more details on this important initiative. If you have any suggestions on how to help prevent bullying in general or cyberbullying in particular, feel free to voice it on those social media platforms. We'll be right back.
As you return to school in the COVID-19 environment, this is what you need to know. On your way to school, keep your mask on at all times. Avoid touching surfaces, but also try not to touch your face, nose and eyes. Remember to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds regularly. It would be nice, but please don't hug your friends. Avoid sharing stationery and your books, but if you really have to, always talk to your teacher first about it. And oh, don't ever share your mask. Your mask is your safety. Your mask is your health. When you get home, take off your mask and wash it with warm water and soap. Stay safe and remember to keep washing your hands. Play safe, work safe. Let's beat the coronavirus together.
Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you are watching the Department of Basic Education's weekly news roundup. The department is preparing to launch the Coding and Robotics pilot program. A nationwide roadshow to prepare schools has been concluded. The department has been working on introducing coding and robotics in schools for the past couple of years. COVID-19 interrupted the implementation of the pilot.
The excitement is there. Our Honorable Minister, Mainjins, visited the writing workshops when the curriculum was written. She took interest in this and she is driving this right from the front. And the MECs.
How far is the department in implementing the subject?
The selection of schools that are going to pilot come from cities, townships, villages. So it is all inclusive because when you test the curriculum, you must test it within the entire environment.
The COVID-19 pandemic further exacerbated the inequalities in the country, where some learners from rural areas struggled to learn, if they did at all, with the rotational learning due to technological issues. So will learners in these areas also get to benefit from the subject?
We have written it in such a way that children in rural areas will not be excluded because of connectivity issues. There are tasks that will be taken offline. There are tasks that will be conducted online so that we are able to accommodate every type of an environment, including with schools for learners with special education needs. So we're testing our curriculum within the entire space.
The department says it is important to prepare and upskill learners for the emerging and changing job environment.
The type of jobs that our learners are going to occupy are changing, and it's important for us to prepare them for that. And equipping them with digital skills is our approach.
We'll be right back after this short break.
The Department of Basic Education is committed to ensuring our schools are safe and regulated environments for our children to build their dreams. Our top priority is to balance the health risk and the risk to children's education and protection, building inclusive, resilient education systems fit for the future. Education is the key to personal development and the future of societies.
Welcome back. You are watching the Department of Basic Education channel on 122 on OpenView or on YouTube. This is your weekly news roundup of what has been taking place in the education space. Some great new and exciting developments for learners who enjoy playing netball. The launch of the DSTV Schools Netball Challenge. The challenge is an inter-school competition in partnership with Netball South Africa, South African Schools Netball, Multi-Choice and Super Sport. It aims to shine a spotlight on young female athletes who are passionate about netball, aged between 16 to 19 years old at secondary schools across the country. Here are some more details about this initiative.
I think this launches an amazing opportunity for school children throughout the country.
It was a jovial occasion as learners and all those in attendance welcomed the great news with a match between two schools that will be part of the tournament. The talent of these young ladies will be showcased not just on the courts, but nationally as the tournament will broadcast on DSTV sports channels.
We have an existing league where we encourage all schools to play at the lowest level. And I know in a lot of the provinces they're trying to get our township leagues back on track again. Gauteng has launched a major thing. We're back to Wednesday leagues. We kicked off last week to make sure we've got 381 of our township schools that have been kitted out and are now playing again. So that's exciting, and I think this whole hype of having schools netball on television and showcased, I think is going to enhance the children's enthusiasm to get part and parcel of the whole thing.
Everyone, especially the learners who will benefit from this initiative, are very excited to be part of this historic occasion. Due to COVID-19, all contact sport had to be put on hold, with sporting activities making a comeback earlier this year.
Obviously, we have given guidance to schools because we're still operating under COVID context, so that everybody is safe, from the participants to your technical officials and everybody who is involved in sports.
You know what they say about an active body keeping the mind healthy. So the department has reiterated the importance of learners taking part in sporting activities.
A healthy mind must be in a healthy body. And study and research tells us that children that are participating in sports, their mind is active. So that's why we say let them go back to sports and train their bodies and train their minds. Some is not only training their minds, because the sport will grow into a career.
But how will learners and their coaches be kept safe as they take part in sport?
We are saying they keep to all the health regulations. It doesn't mean that when they are in sport, and they must not necessarily be tested, but they must just follow, test the temperatures, sanitize, even after, because when they are in sports, they will be able to touch one another. So they must sanitize frequently. That's why even the sports we encourage that there must be this health break. They normally call it COVID-19 break, that it must be there so that they go take all the precautionary measures and then they go back to the sporting field. So that's what we are saying, but we emphasize the fact that they must continue to take all the precautionary measures and all the non-pharmaceutical measures in place that are there, and the department is making sure that as sports is continuing, we make all the PPEs for sports available for our learners.
What message does school netball and the department have then for parents who are still reluctant to allow their children to take part in school sport?
To the parents out there, folks, in the past, yes, there were a few jobs for sport, I think, but as we are progressing into the future, there's just so many opportunities, from administration to social media to technical to coaching to everything, to playing at a higher level. And it's good for children to be exposed.
When we say they must stay home and not participate, we are limiting their career in sports. Not all people want to go academic or whatever, but they will go on sports to become sports professionals, and we must give them that opportunity. So parents must understand, and you know your child, you know their weaknesses and their strength. If your child's strength is in sports, allow them to do that.
The ultimate goal for learners and coaches to lift this coveted trophy.
There's a wealth of talent, I must say. I think South Africa is sitting on a gold mine of talent. We just need to find it.
And that brings us to the end of this week's weekly news roundup on Channel 122 on OpenView and on YouTube. Remember to get in touch with us via all our social media platforms. Until next time, it's goodbye from myself, Tsehoha Jomoachi, and the DBE team.